Welcome back to Advertising Champions here on Daily Ad Brief. I'm Howard Walpoff, your host. We're going to have another great conversation about marketing and advertising here with our wonderful guests, and let me introduce them to you. We have Rafi Chowdhury from Chowdhury's Digital. Rafi, hello, good morning.
Good morning.
And we have Phil White from Grounded. Good morning, Phil.
Morning. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for both being here. We're excited to have this conversation with you. So let's get started. You have focuses that you both work on, and you're trying to get a marketing message out. Rafi, what has been the most successful way to get your message across that you feel you've gotten a great, stronger response to?
Sure. So a lot of the marketing that I do these days focuses around B2B marketing. And for that, what's been most successful for us has been Google advertising as well as LinkedIn. There's a lot of customers, especially B2B customers, that are very active on LinkedIn. Some people are even saying that LinkedIn will become the new Facebook. All the business-related things that were happening on Facebook is now moving on to LinkedIn. So we're just heavily focusing on LinkedIn ads, connecting with the right individuals on LinkedIn. Same thing as on Google as well, just running PPC ads. That definitely does drive a lot of traffic to our website.
Well, LinkedIn is a very powerful tool, and it's great that more people are using it for the good. And there's a lot of people who are just using it straight to sell, which makes it a challenge. But Phil, as we direct the question to you, what are you finding to be the most successful ways to get a message out there now in 2023?
Yeah, it's interesting. I guess we're a little bit different in is that we focus in the kind of brand purpose, sustainability, and social impact space. So that's very much driven out of partnership and community. So often we find that getting some of these more complicated stories or messages out there, but doing it in a way that's kind of more engaging, tends to rely more on kind of experiential or speaking or communities or partnership. So we're finding it's really more of a go-to-market strategy, almost like more of a go-to-community strategy, if that kind of makes sense, and making sure we're very clear on the ecosystem that exists around that particular problem or that particular challenge, and then engaging the stakeholders within that community in a way that's most relevant to them. So it tends to be kind of much more integrated and holistic and intersectional in the way that we do it. But I'm definitely seeing more of a leaning towards more in-person events and kind of experiences, a way of kind of making this really tangible for people.
Now, these events are opening up more and more. People really had not been doing them for a while. Over 2022, things started to evolve up, and now 2023, it is going to be a little bit deeper. So Phil, staying with you, what kind of challenges were there in 2020, 2021 to try to have this type of community marketing that you're now really broadening with again now?
Well, massive, obviously, because of COVID and the fact that people couldn't travel and they couldn't kind of interact. We did see a lot of and Rafi, you'll probably kind of agree with this. We did see a lot of interest in the more kind of digital community and environments. Lots of startups, lots of platforms that I've come across over the past 2 years that never existed before, including a couple of friends of mine who went and built some. So there was very much now more an emphasis I'm seeing on remote learning, digital communities, ways of sharing and engaging content that is much more immersive and incentivized, or maybe even gamified, perhaps, as a way of helping people kind of get more familiar with the content area or subject matter, and then again bringing them into a community that can then be kept alive and engaged through ongoing ECRM efforts. So it's been an interesting evolution, and I think now we're seeing, as with people are starting to kind of travel back and move towards back to more live events, we're seeing kind of an interesting hybrid emerging between a combination of both live events as well as kind of remote virtual style kind of community engagement. So I think it's really interesting, actually.
And it's good that now that we're able to be more comfortable in doing things, and it makes obviously your job a lot easier. Rafi, with the role with digital and people more focused with that over the last couple of years, how has that helped the type of activity that you've been doing for the development for your work and for your clients?
Yeah, I think a lot more people are now much more aware of the impact of digital. Like, I think a lot of small businesses, especially after 2020, the ones that made the cut, didn't go out of business, realized the importance of having that digital presence. Because a lot of these brick and mortar stores were so used to getting the foot traffic and word of mouth and referrals, they sometimes did not spend significant amounts of money or time to develop that digital presence. So I think a lot of awareness was made during 2020. So for us, the model has always been the same. We've always acquired customers via digital marketing. We've always ran, ads on LinkedIn, on social media, on Google. The only thing I would say is that the educating our audience piece of it became a lot easier after 2020 because people were already now aware of the strategies and techniques that they needed to implement. It's just that they didn't understand the expertise behind it. They didn't have the expertise behind it. So that's when we kind of stepped in and started to acquire customers much easier because the selling wasn't as difficult as it was prior to 2020.
Well, it's clear that both of you have the strength to help your businesses, your clients, to really give them the right direction in the multiple ways that you can communicate with your target audiences. So we thank you both for joining us today for this conversation.
Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you all for joining us as well. It's really important to know who your audience is, how to speak to them, what they will react to, what they will have a response to that will help your business grow and keep your marketing approach growing as well. So there's a lot more information about both of these companies here on Daily Advertising, so please check that out. But go and have a great rest of today, and we'll see you next time on Advertising Champions.
Simplify presents Addressable CTV, combining the power of TV with the targeting and attribution of digital. Simplify's Addressable CTV delivers massive reach with the ability to scale without sacrificing precision. TV buyers can generate incremental reach with household-level targeting, frequency controls, reporting, and insights. To learn more about Simplify's Addressable CTV and what it can do for your clients, visit simply.fi.